The story begins with a terrible disaster off the coast of Tasmania. After the US military accidentally deployed an experimental weapon, it destroyed the entire island. The electromagnetic pulse caused severe neurological deterioration in all living things, resulting in their deaths. Our protagonist, Ava's husband, who was on vacation in Tasmania with his company, was involved in the disaster and went missing. Ava then went to the island to volunteer to collect the bodies of the victims, aiming to find her husband in the southern area. However, an officer told her that the area was still burning and no one was allowed there for the time being. The volunteers were then informed by the military that among the few deceased victims, some had come back to life. They could move, albeit slowly, but were definitely no longer human. If they encountered such a case, they had to fire flares to alert the military to come quickly. The next day, Ava and the other volunteers were taken to the houses to collect the bodies. They were divided into pairs of 2 for their missions. Ava's partner was a long-haired man named Clay. He was quite cool and fearless. Inside the houses, they were heartbroken to see that the victims had all died instantly at the hands of the disaster. Some were watering plants, some were couples bathing together, and some were asleep. One day, when Ava and Clay entered a garage, they discovered the employee had become a zombie. His eyes were wide open, full of emotion, but he stood motionless. Clay then went outside and fired a flare, and the army quickly arrived to shoot the employee. Despite collecting bodies every day, Ava was always desperate to find her way to Woodbridge, a coastal town in southern Tasmania, where her husband was 200 miles away. Ava also told Clay about her husband's situation and longed to go there to find him. One day, while at a different motorcycle repair shop, Clay was thrilled to find a motorcycle that perfectly matched his passion. They then discovered numerous corpses of a group of young people who had been drinking and partying, including a girl with dyed pink hair. A few minutes later, she suddenly opened her eyes. Meanwhile, Ava was discussing a plan with Clay to use the motorcycle to travel to Woodbridge. They figured that by following the cleared-of-body outskirts, they could reach the highway without being detected by the army. Clay agreed, eager to ride the motorcycle. He went outside to fill up the gas tank. Just then, Ava heard a noise and saw the pink-haired girl standing up. As she approached, the girl was grinding her teeth so loudly it sent shivers down Ava's spine. Clay then appeared and told Ava to leave quickly. The two then sped off down the deserted road. But after about an hour, Clay suddenly stopped. A military vehicle had appeared ahead. They both hid behind a car parked on the side of the road. Just then, a one-armed man, a zombie, appeared nearby. He was immediately shot down by the military, and the vehicle quickly drove away. Ava and Clay then continued on their way. But the closer they got to Woodbridge, the more heavily polluted the air became due to the fires from the disastrous experiment. They were lucky to find masks and oxygen tanks at a medical facility to continue their journey. A short while later, upon reaching the edge of the town, they were horrified to see the streets below burned to the ground, with only columns of smoke rising into the air. After walking a little further, they chose a shop to rest. Ava confided that she was a physical therapist and her husband worked in renewable energy. They didn't have children yet. Clay introduced himself as a construction contractor with a wife and daughter. While they were talking, a zombie suddenly approached with a severed foot. He aggressively knocked over furniture, causing Clay and Ava to panic. Just as they were about to defend themselves, a gunshot rang out, taking the zombie down. A man who appeared to be from the military then appeared, saying that the longer these zombies existed, the more ferocious they became. He introduced himself as Riley and asked what the two were doing in this restricted area. Ava said she was looking for her husband and that Clay was waiting for her. Riley then told Ava to rest in a room, while Clay had to follow him to write a report. However, a few hours later, Riley returned and said that Clay had fled for fear of punishment. He then said he would help her get to Woodbridge to find her husband on the condition that she did not run away. Ava agreed, and the two set off. They traveled until nightfall, finally stopping at a small house on a secluded farm. It turned out to be the home of Riley's wife's family. He then tearfully explained that his wife, Katie, was pregnant with their first son, due in just a few weeks, but she had gone home for a visit, and her entire family had perished in the recent disaster. As soon as he heard that the island was not contaminated with radiation, Riley persuaded his superiors to allow him to land there by helicopter. When he entered the house, everyone was dead and sitting at the breakfast table. He then buried them in the backyard. After telling his story, Riley asked Ava to do him a rather strange favor, to dress in his wife Katie's clothes, as well as her wedding necklace and ring, and dance with him to ease his longing for his deceased wife. Ava, sympathetic to Riley's situation as she was in a similar predicament, agreed, but ultimately decided not to wear Katie's wedding ring, not wanting to take off her own. As a precaution, Ava carefully hid a pair of scissors under her pillow. Riley then entered the room, imagining Ava as his wife, and began to dance with her. But after a short while, he realized Ava wasn't wearing Katie's wedding ring and became quite upset. She said that she could only help him this far. But Riley insisted that Ava wear the wedding ring and dance again. Seeing Riley's erratic behavior, Ava grabbed a vase and smashed it over his head, then ran into another room and locked the door. But when she turned, Ava was horrified to see Katie, Riley's wife, lying motionless on the bed with a huge pregnant belly. Riley then explained that the dead come back to life because they still have unfulfilled wishes in this life, just like his wife. Despite Riley's frantic banging on the door, Ava climbed out the window and jumped downstairs, then went inside to get the car keys. But Riley appeared on the stairs, so she fled and hid in a corner of the shed in the backyard. A few seconds later, Riley arrived and shone a flashlight searching for her. Ava was terrified to discover many zombies nearby. It turned out Riley had been secretly capturing the undead for research. Knowing there was no escape, she stepped out, pretending to be Katie, and suggested they go get their wedding rings and dance together. While Riley was holding her, Ava quickly pulled out a screwdriver she'd just gotten from the shed and stabbed him in the neck. The man immediately fell to the ground, blood gushing out. She quickly grabbed the car keys and got into the car, starting the engine. But Katie had appeared, standing motionless in front of the house, clutching her pregnant belly. After a few seconds of stunned silence, Ava drove away to Woodbridge. She drove on until she encountered a truck blocking the road. Seeing a suitcase nearby, Ava changed into different clothes, grabbed an axe, and continued walking to Woodbridge, the seaside where her husband was vacationing, unaware that a zombie was following her. A few seconds later, he suddenly attacked, not slowly like his counterparts, causing her to drop her axe. Luckily, she managed to grab something hard and hit him on the head. Ava then continued on her way. She found a mobile home with several corpses outside. Exhausted after the long journey, Ava got into the car and fell asleep. In the middle of the night, a zombie came back to life. When she got outside with an axe, she saw a zombie man digging a hole. He seemed unwilling to attack, silently digging the earth. Ava immediately understood that he only wanted to bury his wife and children. She then joined in to help the man. After finishing his task, Ava freed him and buried him alongside his family. The next day, she finally arrived at the seaside resort where her husband's company was vacationing. Upon entering, she found many corpses of tourists staying there, including employees who had become zombies. Finally, Ava found her husband's hotel room, but he was already a cold, lifeless corpse with no signs of life. She then looked around and saw 2 glasses of wine on the table, and nearby was a woman's employee ID card. It turned out he had been having an affair with a colleague during the company vacation. He had even taken off his wedding ring and left it in the bathroom. Ava angrily called out to her husband to wake up, but he remained motionless, perhaps with no will left in life. Just then, Clay unexpectedly appeared at the door, surprising Ava. After talking, she learned that the deranged Riley had knocked Clay unconscious and deliberately left him there. Worried, Clay came to find her. Ava then recounted how she and her husband were having difficulty conceiving and wanted to try artificial insemination, but her husband said he needed more time and they had argued a lot. He had gone on a company vacation and slept with a colleague. Clay was speechless, only offering Ava alcohol to drown her sorrows. He also confided that his wife and daughter didn't want anything to do with him, so he volunteered to come here so they would see him differently. But Clay's wife just called him a man of straw. To relieve their emotions, they went to the hotel pool to relax, play, and drink heavily. The next day, they carried Ava's husband's body onto a crematorium boat and pushed it out to sea. They then got into their car to return home. But something unexpected happened on the way. As they passed Riley's place, Katie suddenly appeared in the middle of the road. However, the pregnant belly had disappeared, and there were many bloodstains on her dress, indicating she had given birth. Katie's face seemed to want to say something, so Ava looked around and saw a rock arch nearby. Katie then turned and walked away. Suddenly, a baby's cry rang out, and Ava rushed over and saw a child lying there. It was Riley and Katie's son. Ava had been infertile, so she believed that fate had given her this baby. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.